Hello, welcome back to Seed Media. Today we're going to attempt to clone the Instagram homepage. And as you can see on the Instagram homepage, there are a couple of features that we're actually going to try to replicate. First is the animation that is between the iPhones that's stationed on the center of the screen. We also have the placeholder that moves up when you type, the password section and the username section. We have a show and hide button to the right hand section of the password field. And when the password and username are entered to the required field, the login button becomes active. There's a line that cuts through a text that says "or." We have a favicon at the top right corner. We've already implemented that on our blank page. And we also have the two icons that says "get it on Google Play and App Store" and a footer at the bottom of the page. We're all going to try to implement that using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Without wasting much time, let's get started. Let's head over to our code editor, which is going to be Visual Studio Code, and start coding. Let me take time out before I start actually writing any single line of code or markup and explain what the folder structure looks like. In the folder, we have an Instagram_HTML as a parent folder, and under the Instagram_HTML folder, we have a CSS folder that houses three CSS files: the animation.css, the responsive.css, and the style.css. Each of these files are named as they are expected to perform. For example, the animation.css is going to hold the keyframe that's going to be responsible for the changing of the images within the iPhone image. Responsive.css is actually going to make our website responsive, and the style.css is going to hold the general styling of the website. Directly below the CSS file, we have a font folder that is made up of two different fonts. One is the Roboto font with the bold and regular format of the Roboto font. And we also have the Billabong font. The Roboto font is going to be used for the general font of the entire website, while the Billabong font is going to be used to style the logo of the Instagram page. We also have an image folder that is made up of a folder that's called random. The random folder is going to represent the images that will change within the front page of the website. We have 6 images numbered from 0 to 5, and each image has been cropped to be of a size of 240 by 425. So just in case you want to follow along in this tutorial, you can get several images and actually crop them to that size. We also have 2 images, the Android.png and the Apple.png, and those were the images we saw at the lower corner of the Instagram website. We also have a favicon.icon that was generated using one of the online free favicon generator tools online. You can simply Google them and you're going to see a lot of them. We simply got an Instagram image that had a transparent background and passed it through one of the online favicon generators. The home1.png represents the 2 iPhones that we're going to style our animated images in between. And we have an index.html that is currently just holds a link to the style sheets, the favicon, and the font awesome library. And also at the bottom of the body section of the HTML document, we also have a link to the script.js. The script.js is responsible for the logic of the website that we're going to make use of. It's going to serve some parts of the website for interactivity between the user and the web page. So let's get started. We open up the index.html, and the first thing we need to do is create a div with a class of container. And this is going to serve as the parent div. And within the div, we create another div with a class of images that's going to house the 6 images that are going to use for the animation. And let's create an image tag. Let's give that 6. We don't need the alt section of this document. So let's give it a source of images/random/0. Yeah, okay, we went up with 0. So let's just change the numbers to 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and remember, we're going to be making use of the live server to preview our website, and our default editor for this course is the Mozilla Firefox. So let's adjust the Visual Studio Code so we can actually see some of the changes as they occur. Right now, we have the 6 images that we just put out spread out across the web page in no particular format or style. By the time we get to the CSS section of this site, we're actually going to style it and make it look better. So let's keep adding our HTML markup. Next is a div with the class of login container. And within the login container div, we're going to have another div with a class of logo and a text that says Instagram. Yeah, you can't see it right now because the images are covering it. I think we should stick to the Instagram website and style our pages, enter our markup based on what we expect each markup to actually perform on the website. So we're doing this. We've gotten the logo that says Instagram. We have a form. We don't need the action section of the form. The form won't be submitting anything. So let's give a div. We have 3 divs. We're not going to need classes. Should have just created the div straight away and put in those classes here. And the first div is going to house a span with an ID of with an ID of user placeholder, right? Yeah. And within the ID, it's going to have a phone number as seen, a username or email. Yeah, it's going to serve as the placeholder text you're seeing within the input element of on the Instagram page. Next, we're going to have an input for the type of text. an ID of username, and on key attributes, key up attributes, that's going to call a function that says check input. The function is yet to be created. It's going to be created within the JavaScript section of the website. The second div is going to have another span with an ID of pass placeholder. That's going to serve as the password placeholder and a text of password. And we're going to have an input password element. Don't need this. With an ID of password and an attribute on key up attributes of check input. Yeah, I think we're getting good. Let's beautify this a little bit. I don't think we need a third div. Okay, we need a third div for. Okay, before we do that, let's add. Remember, I told you that we have a show button. So let's add the show button directly below the input elements, and the show button is going to be an A tag of a pound symbol telling you that we don't want the A tag to link to any other page. And it's going to have an event with on-click event of hide show. That's going to call a hide show function. An ID of hide show and a text of show. Save that as well. And the last div is going to contain the submit button with an ID of submit and a class of btn. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll move this down just to make the styling a little bit cleaner. Let's give it a type of submit. Let's save that and let's see what we've done so far on our web page. Okay, you can see the other section we just created. That's the login section. Is pushed down as the images are just scattered about the page. Let's keep creating our markup for the HTML section of our website. Okay, so directly below the form elements, we're going to have a h5 element. It's going to have a span tag that says "or." We're going to use this to attempt to create the "or" section. This section you're seeing within the Instagram website that has two lines to the right and left of a text that says "or." Okay, and directly below that, we're going to have another login with an ID of ffffff. An href element doesn't go anywhere. Within the href element, we want to put a font awesome icon for the Facebook. We're going to have a class fafafa-facebook square. I already know, I've used this a couple of times, so I know exactly what to expect with that. And the text that says log in with Facebook. Right? Yeah. After that div, we have another div with a class of fbforgot. That's the forgot password section. That's just going to be a simple A tag. It says forgot password with a question mark. Yeah. We save our work as we keep going. Okay, the next section we need to develop now is the sign up section. And you can see that div is directly outside the login div. So we need to we can collapse our login div to no login controller div to know exactly where it stops and create another div that says, let's call it sign up link. Let's say span. If the span, let's say don't have an account. An A tag element, links nowhere. I'll say sign up. Yeah. So directly below that, we get another div outside that called this mobile app. It's going to have a paragraph that says get the app. Okay, and directly below that, we're going to put input two image tags. And the first one is going to link to images/Android. Yeah. Let's go with this. And the second one is going to be apple.png. We also don't need the alternate tags. And last but not the least, we create the footer section of the website. And the footer section is going to have a couple of A tags. So I'm just going to pause the video or make the video a little bit fast while I fill in the remaining expected A tags within this section. Directly after the A tag, we have a span tag that says, has the copyright 2020 Instagram from C Media. Yeah, we're not actually writing Instagram from Facebook since it's actually a clone. So let's save our work and view the page we've created directly on our browser. You can see that everything is out here now. We've gotten the entire structure of our HTML document. So even though it doesn't look too pretty, the next thing we need to do is head over to our style.css page and start imputing the general style for the website. Let's start it. First thing we need to do is, but first let's import our fonts, font face, font family. I'm going to call this Billabong, and the source of that is going to be URL fonts, and we can just copy this out. We're going to be importing 2 fonts, and the second font is Roboto font. The source is going to be the Roboto folder. I'm going to leave that so you can import all the files within the Roboto font. And the next thing we're going to do is to declare a couple of variables that we're going to use for the entire part of the website. First one is going to be called fb-blue. That's going to have a variable of 385185. I'm going to secondary gray. We're going to be hash dbdbdb. Yeah. The next one is going to be border gray. You can actually just write 3 out, but let's just go with that. Active blue. 95F6. Yeah. So we're done with that. Now we want each element or the entire element on the website to have a border box sizing or border box. We set the padding to 0 and the margin to 0. Affected. Yeah, let's see whether that affects. Let's comment this out and save it again and see. Yeah, so we're good to go. Then we give it a font size of 14 pixel and a font family of Roboto. Save that. And we also give the body a background color of fafafa, a little bit of off-white. Save that. Then we head straight off to the container element and start our styling. The container element is going to have a display property of grid, and the grid template columns is going to be repeat 4:1fr. That means we're going to assign one fraction of the 4 columns equal size to each of the columns that will be created. We're going to have a grid row, grid template row. It's going to be repeat 700 pixel, and you can see that automatically adjusted the website. Now we have 4 columns and 7 rows. If you want to see the green line of what we are working with, you can right click on the web page, click on inspect elements, and under the layout tab you can click the overlay grid, check it, and you're going to see the grid numbers for each of the sections of the website. Now we have the grid numbers out. Let's keep typing our codes and let's keep styling our website. Now the container.images, we're going to give it grid column of 2. Yeah, the grid column of 2. That's these images are over here. Grid column of 2. You can see that grid column line 2. We're going to give it a padding top of 20 pixel and a background image of URL. Now we want to import the home PNG image. Save that. You can see directly just at the top corner of the top section of this cart image. You can see the background image, iPhone image is showing directly above that. We're going to use CSS to adjust it to make it show better. Okay, so let's move this over here. Let's set the width property to 456 pixel and the height property to 618 pixel. We'll give the margin of right at 15 pixel. You can see the image positioned out here, but it's a little bit pushed to the right hand side because of these large images on the left hand side. That's the Google Play and the iPhone store image. By the time we move it down, it's going to readjust itself. I think that's all we need for there. So next, let's target the login container. I keep saying controller, I don't know why. Login container. Now let's put it on the grid column. Let's give it on the grid column of 3. Save that. Let's see if we can see it. Okay, a little bit on this side here on the grid column of 3. You can see it's on 3. And with the border 1 pixel solid. We call the variable secondary gray. Give it a height of 350 pixel. This container is going to look good, and a width of 350 pixel. We're still here, 350 pixel. Give the margin top of 40 pixel and align all the text. This aligns to the center of the div. Let's give the background color of FF. I think we missed something out here. The images are still moving around. By now we should have found a way to move these images to stay within the iPhone. So let's target the images within the container.images, the img tag. Okay, let's target it and let's give it a position of absolute. I use a width of 240 pixel and a height of 427 pixel. Let's give the margin top of 80 pixel. Let's save that. Okay, you can see all the images have aligned under themselves. So let's give it a margin left of 150 pixel. Yeah, so it's perfectly centered within the iPhone image now, and we can clearly see our other images. We still have the Google icon and the Play Store icon pushing the other sections of the website to the far right of the page. We're going to work on that and adjust that in a bit. So let's also look at the login container. I keep saying controller, I don't know where I get that from. Login container.logo. Okay, and for the logo, we're going to give font family of Billabong. Save that, and you can see that immediately we save that, it's supposed to change. I think I spelled this out wrongly. Let's give it a padding. I'll go back to the 20 pixel and a font size of 50 pixel. Yeah, but the font isn't changing. Why? Okay, I didn't spell the font name well. Billabong. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so what again? What else do we think we can do to that? Yeah, the image, the logo is not exactly like the Instagram logo. I didn't want to just cut this out and make use of it. I think it's a custom font they're making use of, but at the time this was actually the fonts, the original fonts that the Instagram website made use of. So I think it's fine. It just gives an illustration of what was done on the website. So let's leave it at that. So the next section we need to target now are the input elements directly below the logo. Well, let's also align this text, center text, align, center. Yeah, I think we're good. So we can target the input images now. So let's say login container short input. I'm going to give it a margin of 3 pixel, 15 pixel. I give it a padding of 10 pixel. Then the width of 80% of the entire container. I give it a border 1 pixel solid. And a variable of secondary gray. Yeah, gray. And that's it for the border of the input elements. I'll give it a border radius of 2 pixels to make the edges a little bit rounded. Now we want to target also the input elements when it comes under focus. And for that we're going to use the focus pseudo selector, and we're going to say when it comes under focus we want the outline. Because if you notice this, now when we click on the focus, there's an outline. So we want to say that when it comes to that focus, we want the outline to be none. I'm going to put important. So it overwrites any other previous styling that might be tied to it. Important. On the border of 1 pixel, solid, 9C. 9B, 9B. Most of all these colors are colors I might work at one point or the other, so you can understand why I can get them off my head or get them based on research. So we got a border radius and also 2 pixel. On focus, yeah. So first looks good now. Okay. So 0 pixel. Let's say it looks like. Yeah. So 1 pixel is fine. Okay. So next we need to move the show button to its proper position so that it doesn't displace the password input element. I'm going to target the hide show ID with the position of absolute. Then with a margin of 5 pixel 0 0 minus 70 pixel. It brings that into the now brings it into the input element with a border of 0. We don't want any border at all, and a padding of 9 pixel. Outline of none, and the cursor should be pointer with a background of transparent. We don't want any background to show when it's clicked, and a font weight of bold. Text decoration none to take out the underline that we have with it, and a color of black. I think we're good to go with that. So I think you have to accept that our page is starting to look like what we have over here. So let's keep going and see how far we can get to actually recreate the actual design of the Instagram website. Placeholders, that's the pass placeholder and the user placeholder. That's the span elements that holds the text, password, and phone number, username, or email. And the first one is font size. We want to give it a font size. Give it a font size of 14 pixel and position absolute, margin 16 pixel, 0025 pixel. Color VR border gray, makes it look like it's faded. The pointer events is going to be none. Don't want any pointer event to affect it, and the transition of 0.1 second is in out. Okay, so the image is actually squished up because of this image that's pushing the other elements across it, so it's not getting its appropriate spacing. This is going to actually adjust itself. The images over here are the reason why it's out squished. If we were to hide this image, it's going to straighten out. So let us start with the button. What's the button called? We said it had a button. Okay, let me put the text. Login. Let's start the button. I have a button submit. I'm going to give it BTN. I'll give it a width of 80%, and a padding of 6 pixel, margin top 10 pixel, background color of VR variable active blue, border radius of 5 pixel, a color, text color of white. Also going to have a font weight of bold, border of 1 pixel, solid, transparent, and close this out so we can have more space. 1 pixel, solid, transparent, and a cursor. Typing cursor of pointer. Yeah. So what we're going to do next is create this section of it that says the 2 lines to the left and right and the alt text in between. Well, for that, we're going to target the H5 element within the login controller. H5 element within the login controller. I'll give it a width of 80% as well. A border bottom of 1 pixel solid A5 and 5A5. Margin of 10 pixel, 35, 5 pixel, and 18 pixel, and a line height of 0.1 rem. Padding top of 10 pixel, and color. Repeat this color here. To make it a little bit faded. So now we're going to give the span element within the H5, a background color of white to create the illusion that the lines are divided into two. So I'm going to say background of FFF, see that, and give it a padding of 0.20 pixel. So I think we've done well so far. So next we move on to the FB login icon. FB-login. We attempt to style it. So let's give it a text decoration of none. Give it a color. FB blue. Give the font size of 14 pixel and the font weight of bold. The padding top of 20 pixel. Okay. I will target the font awesome icon within the login div. I'll give it the font size of 18 pixel and a padding of 5 pixel, just to make it a little bit bigger. Let's go back and say font for FB login. Oh, mistakenly called this FB forgot. It should be FB login. FB login. And this should be FB forgot. So I think we're good to go. So let's head over back to the FB login and the FB forgot and give them a styling of padding of 2 pixel. The next element, the next div that we need to work on now is the FB forgot a tag. I'll give it a text decoration of none. The color of VAR, that's the FB blue, and a font size of 12 pixel. I think it looks good. Font size of 12 pixel. Sign up link. Put the sign up link to the grid column of -3, grid row of 5. Let's turn on the grid overlay so you can see the grid columns we're targeting right now. -3 and 5, somewhere over here. So let's save that. Really move up to moved over there. So it moved over here. Text align center. We have a border of 1 pixel solid VAR variable secondary gray, and have a padding top. So my typing is off today. Padding top of 25 pixel, height of 70 pixel, and the width to match the login div of 350 pixel. Looking good. With the font size of 15 pixel. Let's see, lighter, background color of FFF. So it matches the. So next we need to target the A tag within the sign up link. I'm going to give it a text decoration of none. take out the underline. Here the color of VAR, that's that active blue. Cursor, pointer, font size of 15 pixel, and font width of bold. Save that. Okay, save that, yeah. Font weight of bold jumped a little bit, font weight of bold. And finally, the mobile app that has been displacing other images within the entire web page. We move it to a grid column. So a grid column of -3. Save that. Grid row of 6. Text align center. The width of 350 pixel and a font size of 15 pixel. Font weight normal. Yeah, I think we are good to go. Then we need to target the images that make up these two logos. I will say it.image tag. I'll give it a width of 40%. Save that to make it smaller. 40% and padding top of 15 pixel. Keeps jumping up when it refreshes. So we'll sort that out. And a border radius of 5 pixel. Okay. We'll move straight off to the footer element. And give it a padding. So we need to move it to grid row of 8. Okay, so what's wrong with this? Yeah, so refreshed it. It's okay now. It shouldn't be having an extra space between a grid column of 1 that spans across to 5. Then we give it text align center. We can target the A tags within the footer directly and give them a padding of 10 pixel, font size of 13 pixel, text decoration shown of none, and a color of 376B. And for the span elements, that is the span tag that is within the footer, we can target that and give it a padding left of 10 pixel, font size of 13 pixel, text decoration of none, and color of E88. Yeah, that's it. Save. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's take a look at our website, and yeah, this is the original Instagram website. I think we've gotten close to it. What do you think? Let's close this up. I think we've gotten close to it. Then input the inspect elements and see what it looks like. Let's see what the grid areas look like. Yeah, I think we've gotten close to it. Not exactly the same, but we're close. Let's see what the website looks like in Chrome. Instagram.com on our lovely looking own website. Someone coming here at first view might not necessarily just know the difference. So let's move on to the animation section of the website. So we're going to open our style animation.css. We're going to be a little bit faster with this. I'm going to target the images div, an image tag, and give the animation a name of changer, animation, the timing function, how you expect the animation to play out, is in out, animation iteration count infinite. That means you want the animation to keep running. I give it animation duration, how long you expect the animation to run. I want it to run for 19 seconds. Animation direction, I want it to run alternate. That's going to go both left from right and right to left. The next thing we need to do is tag the images that we want to be affected. I want image tag, the end position of type 1. I'm going to have animation delay, how long you want the animation to be delayed before it actually runs. Let's duplicate this, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have about 6 images. So that's 1. And for 1, we want the first one to run for 16 seconds. And we want 2 to run for 12 seconds. We want 3 to run for 10 seconds. We want 4 to run for 7 seconds. We want 5 to run for 3 seconds. And the 6th image is going to be the starting image, 0 seconds. We save that. No more changes yet. Then we have to assign the keyframe. I'll assign the name of changer that we created here initially when we were calling the animation. and within the keyframe, the animation is going to run from 0 to 100%. So we need to tell it what it's going to do at each different percentage of the animation. Okay, I'm going to clone this out. So we're going to need about 5 of it. We're going to take care of 5 percentages. It's going to be, if your image is going to be visible, the opacity is going to be 1 at 25%. The opacity is going to be 0. That means the image is not going to, that initial image is not going to show anymore. And at 45%, when opacity is still going to be 0. After, okay, let's use 65%. You can play around with this until you get your desired results. Still 0. And 85%. Opacity is still 0. Then we go down to 100% and have an opacity of 1. Beautiful. That's something like what we have here. That's what we just did. So let's move on to the responsive.css and see what we can do with that. Responsive.css is actually the shortest file within this project, and all we need to do within the responsive.css is the container property, images, and make the display. That's all. So when we remember, we set the media with max width of, let me adjust this. Remember, we set the max width of 875. So if we were to adjust this now, so when it gets to a width of 875, it automatically adjust, takes away that image and adjusts it. That's basically how it works, just like the main page. See that? That's all basically what we're doing. So let's head over to our JavaScript section of the website and see what we can do over there. So we'll open our script.js file, close the left panel. First, we're going to declare a couple of variables, const username, and this is going to relate to, this is going to house the document.get element by ID. Let me just copy this out because I'm going to write this a lot. And it's just going to call username. Remember, we have a field called username. That's the input element with the ID username. So we're getting that element by its ID username. User placeholder. Let's save that. Yeah. Okay. Let's move this over here, since this is where we're going to be, this way the changes are going to be reflected. Okay, the first thing we need to do is declare on the window object to say window.onload. We want to call a function disable button. It's going to make sure that the login button is disabled. Then we also want the toggle button dot style dot visibility is equals to hidden. The reason it's not showing because the disabled button function, the disabled button function has not been created. Let's declare a function with the name disable button, and we're going to have a submit button dot disabled equals to true. Submit button dot style dot cursor equals to auto. I submit button dot style dot background color equal to hash b4dffd save. Yeah, that's it. So I didn't get the background color properly. So you can see when the window loads is disabled, the color changes. You see, just like this. This is the original Instagram website. The color changes and we can't click on it. The cursor is also this black auto cursor. So we've gotten that right. We also want the show, if we were to hide this, the show text to be hidden. So let's take that out again. So we're going to have another function called check input. Remember the function that was called when you type, when your key goes up, with the attribute on key up within the input element, on key up check input. Okay, let's make this check input should be capital I. And here, check input, capital I. Check input. We're going to say if username dot value this and password dot value is not equal to an empty string. That means if they both contain a text or an object, a text has been typed, submit button dot disable equal to false. We want to enable the submit button, and submit button for style dot cursor. I'm doing it basically just in the most procedural way possible so you can understand what I'm doing. Pointer this and submit button dot background color, style dot background color equal to hash 1f95f6. Save that. Else call the function disable button function. Yeah, so we do this, yeah, enable it. If we clean that and clean that, it's disabled back. So next we need to check password values. So if password.value is not equal to an empty string, we're checking only the password value now. Toggle button dot style dot visibility is equal to visible. Passholder style dot margin is equal to 5 pixel 0 0 20 pixel, and the passholder dot style dot font size equals to 9 pixel. Else disable button, and return this back. Disable button and say it's equal to hidden, and let's make this 16 pixel 0025 and make the font 14 pixel. Save. I'm going to do the same thing for the user name. I'm going to say check username values. Okay, so let's just copy all this out because it's practically almost going to be the same code we're writing, except with different names. Okay, let's call this username and value. It's not going to have a toggle. Username is not going to toggle this. Let's change this to user holder. Let's save it and see. So if you type this, it goes up, you come down. Type this, it goes. It's not working. Why? Okay, username is not yet working. Let's see what mistake we made with the username. So mistaken place, we should be user placeholder. Yeah. So if we go this and do this now, and do this, show, we can show. Okay, we've not done the show but part yet, so okay, that's good. Let's do the show hide now. It's going to be outside this, so we're going to call this a function of show of hide show. And if password, check for the password type, or type show equal to password. The type is password. Wants to go ahead and say password.type equal to text. And also should toggle button.inner HTML equals to hide. Else copy this. Password.type equals to password. Toggle information equals to show. So let's see. We have this, you can show, hide, show, hide. Yes, I think our text doesn't clean off when we reload, so we can make sure it goes off by saying in the scripts we can say Windows load, we're gonna say username and password. Username dot value is equal to empty string here. Yeah, on the regular Instagram page, when you type your characters, for example, and it just shows the button, I want that to have a little bit of animation. You also make it a little bit slick. So let's go back up here and say on the check inputs function, we're going to give it the submit button, a style dot transition equals to 0.8 seconds here. Let's see how that looks. I think it's going to be better, not just popping out the color directly. So let's type this and yeah, type. Just come here. So I thank you for sticking around this long. It's been a very long journey, but I think it was all worth it. So let's take a look at the original Instagram page and our cloned Instagram page. You can make adjustments to it, make changes to it, tweak it the best way you can, and send it over to me. I would like to see a copy of what you got. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you at the next video.